Hello, 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 beautiful blessed ones. It's your Triple G, Donna Salee, transformational life coach, dream builder coach, public and motivational speaker, book club and workshop facilitator, and very, very soon to be best-selling author, as well as the founder of Life Destiny Solutions, where the life you're living connects with the destiny your soul desires to express. Welcome, welcome, welcome to episode 4 of Women, Wisdom, and Wine, which is a virtual live segment where women gather weekly to have candid conversations about their experience in life, growth, healing, and transformation. And so the reason I started this platform is because I truly believe that if you are alive, you have wisdom to share that can help someone else. So I want you to stick around till the end of the segment, where I will tell you how you can find out more about me, about Life Destiny Solutions, how you can download my free guide, 5 Steps to Begin Living a Life You Truly Love, and how you can follow me on Facebook and IG. And this is Women, Wisdom, and Wine. So what I want you to do before we bring on our guest, I want you to type in the chat. Tell me what you're sipping on this evening. It may not be an adult beverage, but it is Women, Wisdom, and Wine. So you guys know me already. I love my red wine. I am sipping on a Spanish Tempranillo and Syrah blend. I love my red blends. So let's go ahead and get started and get ready to go. So I see a few people have already, somebody said they're drinking water tonight. Somebody else said, Susan says she's drinking a complex red, not just a red blend, a complex red blend. Someone else is drinking rosé, and someone else said hi, and hi, whoever you are. Just so you know, those joining on Facebook Live, before the show next time, remember to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. That way, just like I see Susan Franken's name on here, I'll be able to see who is making comments, who is asking questions, and we can engage one another, okay? So without further ado, I am going to bring on my beautiful, beautiful guest, Miss Brittany Jones. She is a lovely 25-year-old mother, small business owner, and a criminal background researcher. That has to be very interesting. She received her bachelor's degree in 2018 from Northern Kentucky University in criminal law and pre-law, criminal justice and pre-law. And I'd like to personally add, she has such a beautiful smile. I love when she is on Facebook Live and lighting up Facebook with her smile. Let's put our hands together virtually for the beautiful Miss Brittany Jones. And there's that beautiful smile.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brittany. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm super excited to talk and engage with you all. So thank you, Donna, for having me, and thank you all for watching.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being my 4th guest. The first 3 guests were named Tracy. So now we're finally getting a little mix in here. We have a Brittany. So I'm excited about that. Sometimes it's the small things. So what I want to do, I do want to get started because you chose a very interesting topic, breaking generational curses through entrepreneurship. And I'm sure that just like me, others saw that title and thought, this will be pretty interesting. So let's see what's going on. So what I'd like you to do is just tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me about Brittany. Who is Brittany? And in the sense of, if a stranger asked you who, tell me about you, what would you say about yourself?
Brittany is a young 25-year-old, vibrant, inspirational, motivational young lady. I love other people. I love myself. I love to meet new people and pour life and light into other people. So to sum it all up, I would just say that I'm a go-getter. I'm a hustler. I'm constantly looking for new ways to elevate my life and help other people elevate their own lives. And
Yeah.
lastly, I have a 2-year-old son. So I am a mom. I do wear a couple hats. I'm a business owner. I'm a mom, and I do work a part-time job.
All right. Well, let me tell you, we're going to get into some of the things that you do as an entrepreneur. I've been able to support one of the things that you do, but you have other things going on and in the works. And so I love that. And eventually I want you to be able to tell people about that. But I will say, I agree with you. You are always spreading positivity. And I love that. I love that we have a fresh, younger perspective on tonight. This is what we need. So what I want to get into is, what are generational curses? In your words, what do you say they are, and how did they begin to shape your life?
Okay. So generational curses, in my own opinion, are things that you grew up around, things that you went through yourself as a child, and that looks differently for everybody. So for me personally, I did grow up in the projects of Louisville, Kentucky, and I want to say up until I was maybe about 6 or 7, that was my entire background. So I guess you can say growing up in poverty, that's what it looked like for me. So to break those generational curses, I'm only 25, to grow up and become something more than where you came from. A lot of people say you are your surroundings, and that's not true. I grew up and I got out of that, and it landed me where I am today. So I would just say that that's basically, to sum it all up, that's what breaking a generational curse is: something that you've come from in your own life that you've overcome. So something that your ancestors maybe done, your grandparents or your parents have maybe done, and they expect you to do that as well, or be the same way when you get older. So breaking that cycle and breaking that curse and overcoming.
Yes, breaking cycles. I think I really love that because, if you have a Christian or biblical background, then you've heard of generational curses. They talk about that in the Bible. They don't necessarily call them that, but those curses. There's a saying that the sins of the father. Also, what you said about cycles is so important because, as children, we take on what we're around. And so a lot of times people grow up in a certain surrounding, they have certain mindsets, they have certain, mindsets around money. I've heard people say, I'm just poor. I ain't never gonna have nothing, or I've heard, people say these things, but when they speak them, they're perpetuating that curse. And so we know that a curse is a negative cycle, because we can have good cycles and we can have good, perpetual cycles. But I think it's important to understand, especially for the audience, that when we talk about generational curses, think about those things that shaped your life, that maybe it took you to become an adult to look back on and say, you know what? I want better than this. I deserve better than this. I am more than what my family or my parents taught me I was. And friends trying to hold you back in that that environment, that way you talk, the way you think, the way you act. So I do love that. Other than poverty, a poverty generational curse, were there any other things that you care to share that kind of you realized as you've grown and come into adulthood? Are there other things that you have learned that you necessarily didn't think was a generational curse, but realized they were later?
Yes, definitely. You mentioned it, but I grew up as a Christian, went to church, and every week, every Sunday, basically went to church, and very Christian lifestyle. Everything was by the Bible and living your life as a Christian. I did that all the way up until, let's see, this is 2021. So March of last year, when me and my son's dad separated, I decided to take time to really love on myself and get to know myself and find out what I wanted to practice, not what I was brought up around, but what best suited my life. So I started doing research and watching podcasts. And after I started doing that, it's crazy because I won't say my friends changed, but I gained friends that were on the same path that I was getting to. So I started, I guess you can call it a spiritual journey. I am still on a spiritual journey because I'm still learning. But I just came to a point in my life to where I realized that the Christian lifestyle it didn't best suit me. I decided that's not what I was going to follow because that's what I was brought up around. That didn't mean that that's what I have to carry on throughout my life. So I went on a spiritual journey, and I'll just go ahead and say it. I do not have a religion. I just consider myself to be very spiritual. So I'm very heavy on meditation and manifesting things. And you also mentioned the words that you choose. So while on my spiritual journey, I realized saying things like, oh, I can't do that. Or, oh, maybe someday, hopefully. That journey, this journey has completely changed the way that I speak and the words that I choose to use out of my mouth. Because when you say words, you have to be intentional with those words. If that's not what you mean, then you shouldn't say it. I was watching Steve Harvey the other day, and he said, why ask for your rent to be paid when you can have a mortgage?
Okay.
And I was like, I rewinded it back, and I was like, I need to hear that again because I have asked for that. Like literally in my meditation time, I'll write down my manifestations and I'll say my bills to be paid next month or my rent to be paid on time. Like I'll ask for those small, simple things. Why ask for something simple when you can ask for something more? And I say that to say this spiritual journey has opened my eyes to so much more. And some people might look at this and be like, wow, I never knew that. But it truly has. And as you get older and as you grow as a person, you find out what works best for you. And this is just what has worked best for me in my life. It's gotten me closer to God and allowed me to speak more freely and allow my words to flow to Him versus trying to think of a way to pray. There's no right or wrong way to pray. And I used to always think, oh, I don't know how to pray. Should I say that? Should I say this? So on my spiritual journey, I've just learned that be intentional with your words, mean what you say, love yourself through the journey, and keep going.
I love I love that in your 25 years of wisdom that you are there. No, I keep bringing this up because I wish I understood that the way I understand it now. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So being very being a Christian, and that is my foundation. So for me, I'm not, I'm still very, I know Bible scripture. I know, how to look to that. But I also am more spiritual than 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 religious these days. Yeah, at this point in my life. So I still follow my biblical foundation, my Christian foundation, but I believe in meditation. I believe in, and a lot of these things that we say, for instance, manifesting. I mean, there are scriptures that support that. So, we have to, I want to say that, we have to be very careful, just all of us, not just Christians, but especially, we have to be very careful not to be judgmental of someone else's spiritual path, because one thing I say is I believe in all paths to God. Those paths that are leading to that spiritual creator, that one consciousness, that one, place, that one being, that one entity, that one spirit that we all come from. And so I love what you're saying. And Susan says, so young and so wise, love her words. I can identify in my old age.
Thank you.
So I want to talk a little bit about how did, oh my goodness, everything went crazy here. How did you come up with the idea? I mean, I know you said that you grew up, in poverty, but how did you come up with the idea that entrepreneurship would be the way to break those generational curses, that would be part of your path? And was there someone who was instrumental in teaching you about this or mentoring you?
I'll answer that part first before I forget. I honestly did not have anyone to show me this path or walk me through how to get to where I am today. It was truly all just me being wise and wanting more out of life. So that's really what got me here. And I did have older people that I looked up to, that I could talk to and vent to. But as far as like helping me get to where I am today, I truly would say that it was all just me and my ambition.
Okay.
I'm gonna give the backstory of my life
Yes,
so that
please.
I can lead myself up to this point.
Please.
So, like I said, I grew up in the projects of Louisville, Kentucky. I grew up with myself and 4 siblings I can't remember how old I was, but I want to say somewhere between 5 and 7. My biological mother lost custody of us, and we went to 5 separate households. So I went to my godmom, which I had kind of stayed with her part-time anyway. So it was a really easy transition for me to go there. So from that age up until 17, I decided to run away from home at 17 years old. Now that I look back, just being hard-headed and not wanting to listen just led me to just want to leave. So I left, and I don't remember the year, but I think I was like around 16 or 17 years old. And I kid you not, I moved 10 times you heard that right, 10 times. I think I was 17. So that was between my junior year and my senior year of high school. I moved 10 times. So that in itself, a lot of people are going to look at that and be like, or did look at that and would say, oh, she's not going to be nothing. She's going to drop out of school. She's going to end up pregnant before she leaves high school. Generational curses, things that happened in the old days, and they think that that's how you're going to be as well. Mm-hmm. So my senior year, I graduated from high school. I started an internship down at the federal courthouse in Louisville. And then from there, I went straight to college at North Kentucky University. Now, I worked my entire way through college. Actually, I got my first job when I was 13 years old. But throughout college, I worked my entire way through. I got myself in. I got my scholarships. Really, nobody helped me get through that but myself. So I think a lot of my ambition and wanting more out of life started there. Going through college and seeing how much of a struggle it was and having to do it by myself and not really having real help. I mean, I did have some people that would check on me or give me money if I needed, but not having any real help allowed me to open my eyes to something much more than that. And I knew then I didn't want to work for somebody the rest of my life. So I went through college, and I worked 3 jobs, and I was a RA my sophomore year of college. My senior year of college, I ended up pregnant with my son, and that's when the light really turned on. Like, okay, you got to do something. I mean, you're getting this degree, but it's not promising that you'll have a job right out of college. So you got to think of something quick before you have this baby. Mm-hmm. So I've always been very Afrocentric. You can see my little beads in my hair. But yeah, I've always been very Afrocentric. I thought, what would be better than selling things that I like and that I wear myself? So I got on Google and I found sources to buy earrings, necklaces, whatever. And that's what I did. And I spent, I want to say maybe like $500 to do that. And that ambition died. Like when I got all my stuff, I was excited about it, but then it quickly died. Like I just didn't feel passionate about what I was doing yet. I don't know if I was just overwhelmed from being in school and being pregnant, but that ambition went out the window and I didn't give it the effort like I should have. So maybe a year had gone by and I didn't make any sales like through the internet. I went to a pop-up shop thing at the Muhammad Ali Center in Louisville and I sold a bunch there. And once I did that, I was like, okay, I got to get rid of this jewelry and do something that I really enjoy doing. So I posted in a group on Facebook and I was like, hey, I have $10 grab bags. And I mean, it was a great steal. I think I put 5 pair of earrings in there, a necklace, and 2 bracelets in there for $10. You get all this nice stuff. Seriously, I was ready to get rid of it and I needed money fast. So I did the grab bags and I literally sold everything. I didn't have anything left. So then I joined another group on Facebook, a craft group, and I was watching this girl for like a year. And I was like, wow, those bracelets are beautiful. And that's something that I would really enjoy doing because I can sit and I can zen and just zone out everything and just focus and meditate and do everything that I love doing at one time. So again, I got back to the drawing board. I started doing research and I found places to buy my beads and stuff from. So I started doing that in 2019. So it's been a little over a year now. And I truly feel like I found my passion in that. Now, when I first started, things were going well. I feel like my prices were pretty reasonable and things were selling very quickly. So I decided, okay, I can do this without giving it much thought. I was like, I can do this. I can make a lot of money from this. I was watching Miss Dana and I was like, wow, she's really making a great living from this. So
Dana highly
really pushed me and motivated me to go harder. So I found more quality beads and I upped my prices a little bit because if you buy something that's more expensive, you have to go up on your prices a little bit. So I did that. And then I realized, okay, I can't, if I want to be wealthy and if I want to be rich and I want to live a comfortable lifestyle, I can't just do this. This is not going to get me where I want it to go. So I'm gonna pause there and then I'm gonna add this in there and go back to that.
Okay.
So 2019, was it 2019? I think it's 2019 March. I moved back to Louisville and I started working as a social worker and I was super excited about it. The dollar amount was somewhat appealing to me. Somewhat appealing. I won't say 100% appealing, but it was somewhat appealing to me. And I was like, oh yay, I'm so excited. I'm just out of college and I got a job, something that I can make a decent living from. Well, our pay was on the 15th and on the 30th of each month. My first paycheck, and I swear to you, I'm not lying. It was around $931 for a 2-week period.
Yeesh.
And that right there did it for me. I was like, oh no.
And with a new son?
Yeah. I was like, I like nice things and I like to live comfortably. And I was like, I can't survive off of this. This can't take care of me and a 2-year-old. So that's when I finally ordered all of my supplies for my beads. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I had watched enough videos and watched enough people to where I was like, I'm going to do this. And I launched and it did very well. Up until I changed my prices, it slowed down tremendously. And that's okay because not everybody is your customer. If you change your prices, change your customers. And I stand firm to that. And I believe that is okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that and things started picking back up. And that led me to where I am now. I was like, okay, Brittany, you want to get rich off of this and you want to be wealthy and you want to make a comfortable living and travel and be financially free. You can't just make bracelets because that's not going to do it. Not everybody wants to spend $100 on a bracelet. You're not going to, that's not going to give you the income that you want to get. I mean, here and there, you might get a little change, but it's not going to make you rich and it's not going to make you wealthy. I started doing more research and I was like, well, what do I like? I literally was sitting on my couch and I was looking around like, I have all these candles that I've bought from other people. I love candles. Make your own candles.
I'm so
So
excited.
from the beginning of January to now, I have been doing so much research. I feel like I'm a scientist now. So if you have scientist questions, ask me. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But
If
seriously,
you have candle science questions.
yes, because I'll tell you that it's stressful. It's very stressful. And I didn't really know what I was getting myself into it until I got into it, but I'm glad that I did. So I started doing research and I joined another group on Facebook, which has helped me tremendously with creating my candles. So since the beginning of January up until now, I have been focusing 90% of my attention on releasing my candle line. I gave myself I'm gonna say a small goal of 8K a month. So once I launch my candle line, and it's not just candle, there's more coming with it, but I won't tell you all of that right now. You just wait and see when I do launch. But I gave myself a small goal of 8K per month. So just being ambitious and vibrant and excited about it, I feel like that I can truly get there.
Yes.
So as far as breaking generational curses, I feel like I'm on the path to breaking that generational curse because I grew up with really nothing. I won't not completely, but I come from very little.
Yes.
And I didn't want to carry that into my life, especially now that I have a child. I want to be able to give my child the things that I couldn't get. Because like I said, I grew up in a household with four brothers.
Yeah.
We couldn't get everything we wanted. And then when I moved in with my godmom, which I call her my mom, when I moved in with her, things were very different because it was just me. But in the same sense, I wanted to grow. When I had my own kid, I wanted to give him the life that I never had. I want to travel and show him the world. And I didn't get that as a kid. I took one trip to Texas when I was about 6 years old and that was for a wedding. So my son is really my motivator and he keeps me going and he pushes me to want more out of life and be something bigger and better than myself, pour into other people and give tips and wisdom when I can, however I can.
Yes. So you said so much, but so many great things. But I do want to. I love. First of all, let me ask you this. I know you said some other things are going to be coming with your candle line. I'm very excited. You know I'm going to support. And as you see, I'm burning my candle.
Yes.
Back here, there. Anyway, back there. So I love candles. So Are you still going to be doing bracelets? That's my question.
Yes.
Okay.
I
want y'all to see now. I
made that, y'all.
She made this, y'all.
It's just one, so don't ask for that.
Wait, there we go. Okay. She made this beautiful set. And I saw it online and I thought, I gotta have that. So
I didn't even get to post it to the website.
No, you didn't because I saw it on IG.
It didn't make
there
it that
you go,
far.
y'all. There you go. So bejeweled bracelet bead candles.
So actually, my bracelet line the name has changed a couple of times, but
I love it.
my bracelet line is it was Bougie Bees by B. Marie. But since I'm adding candles and other household products, I've decided to change the name overall to House of Bougie because everything is just going to be bougie, y'all. Okay.
It's bougie. It's
very bougie.
I love that.
But yes, to answer your question, I am going to still make bracelets. I have taken a break from that. I haven't bought any new beads because I still have some sets that I want to get sold. And I've been working on my candle line. So I would be stretching myself too thin to try to do both of them at the same time. So once I release my candle line, yes, I will.
You want to get those candles. Yeah, you want to put into that. What I've realized, and you can, maybe you have some different wisdom because I don't have a, retail line. But, what I've learned about just life, when you have a lot of goals, you can get like so sucked in by trying to be as good as someone else. You know, on my other computer, I have a saying by Theodore Roosevelt: comparison is the thief of joy. And I have to, I remind myself of that, because it's very easy to kind of get sucked in because you want to be like someone else. So you tend to want to mimic and do what they do. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you also have to be true to you. And so what I've realized is that you have to be able to be okay going at your pace. And just because you put it, you know, at your, you know, just because you set the goal, if you don't make the goal exactly when you say, it's okay. Be gentle with yourself. Be compassionate with yourself. We're compassionate with everyone else and gentle with everyone else. Show that toward yourself, because when it's time for you, I promise things are going to just line up, you know? So I love that you're trying these different things, and you're really still kind of figuring out what is good for you. I love this.
I gave myself the goal of, by this summer, I'll be a full-time entrepreneur. And I'm a pause real quick, you all. When I said earlier that be intentional with your words, so notice I didn't say I want to be a full-time entrepreneur. I'm going to be, I have the goal to be a full-time entrepreneur by this summer. So just those small word changes can really change your life. I mean, it personally, it has changed mine.
Yes. And have you noticed with that, because we are talking about generational curse, breaking generational curses, a lot of us have generational curses surrounding our talk, our attitude and our talk, you know? And so have you noticed for yourself that it has really taken practice to that you always have to be mindful, or as I say, notice what you're noticing and change it? Doesn't mean you're perfect, you know? So yes, that's
and
I noticed that for myself.
A big one that I catch myself all the time saying is trying is failure. I really, and I was about to say it again. I strive hard not to use that word, because you have to be careful with what you ask for, because you can try and you can fail.
Yes. Well, I want to even offer you something right there. I always say, and I have to do this to myself, so I'm saying it to me as I'm saying it to you, as I'm saying it to everybody. One thing that I have learned is that there really is no such thing as failure. There are lessons and there's feedback. So when you feel like something is a failure, really look for the lesson in it and realize it's the feedback of the universe, of God, of whatever your higher power is. That's just feedback to let you know, well, maybe we need to do it a little different next time, or maybe this wasn't for me right now, you know? So I love, you know, that you're trying to take certain words, and this is what we all have to do, and it's practice. That's all it is, you know? Yes. And yes. Yes.
I like that. Thank you for sharing that. I like that.
I wasn't trying to teach anything. I just really,
I
have
like
to
that,
remind myself, you know,
sometimes it takes for us to pour that wisdom into somebody else for them to realize, oh, wait, she's right. So I appreciate
no
that.
such thing as failure. I don't care. Even if, you know, for people who have, you know, put everything into something and then in the end they lost, you know, everything. But they'll say, I lost everything. I lost my house. I lost my, you know, whatever. But the thing is, that wasn't a failure. It was feedback, because you couldn't have gotten feedback if you hadn't tried, you know?
Exactly.
So yeah. So I love that. So let me ask you, for you, what advice would you give if one of your triple G's, y'all know I love that, my good girlfriends and my good guy friends, what if one of your triple G's came to you and said, hey, I'm really struggling, you know, with this situation, this generational curse. Maybe they don't call it a generational curse. My family, lives a certain way and they expect me to live a certain way. And if I don't live that way, I think I'm better than them or whatever. We know that's a generational curse, and they're being sucked in basically. So what advice would you give someone if they came to you, and needing help, just kind of getting through that, working through that?
I would first say to he or she, you have to love you first. That is the utmost important thing. Love you first, because if you don't have any love for yourself, you're going to allow people to dictate and walk all over top of your entire life. So
Yes.
it starts here,
Yes.
and then you can grow from there. So for me
Yes.
personally, gone through having those experiences, I started loving me a little bit more and loving on me, because
Mhm.
loving yourself and loving on yourself are two different things. So
Yes,
for
ma'am.
me, loving on me was taking myself to eat, doing things that I enjoy doing the things that make me happy. I'm a huge NDRE fan.
Mhm.
I took myself to an NDRE concert by myself. And that was the best experience I've ever had. So I would say start there. And I
Yes.
promise everything else will fall in its place
Mhm.
accordingly, and when the time comes. Don't rush it. Just start loving on you and speaking positive things into your life. I look at myself in the mirror every morning and I play a song by NDRE, and then afterwards I speak affirmations to myself.
Yes.
I decide who I am, not my family, not my friends. I do, and you do too. So start
Right.
there.
That's
I would say
right.
definitely start there with loving you and loving on you.
So when you talked about, you mentioned affirmations, where did you learn about how to create affirmations? Do you create affirmations that are tailored to you? And where did you learn about that? Just out of curiosity. I know it's
Okay,
kind of
so
off subject, but
there's a woman on well, I have it on my phone. If you have an iPhone, you have like the little podcast thing. There's a woman on there. I can't remember what the name of her podcast is for some reason, but there's a woman on there. Her name is Aviola Abrams. Aviola. I think it's Abiola or Aviola Abrams. And I started watching her. I started listening to her on the podcast, but I was like, I want to see her because she is so vibrational and her energy is just flowing through this phone. So I need to
mhm,
see her
mhm,
and look at her.
mhm.
So I started watching her. I think she does it every Monday. I started listening to her podcast, and then I started watching her on YouTube. And she is very big in the spiritual world and manifesting things. And one of her podcasts she did was about affirmation. So that is where I got that from. And I do tailor those affirmations to
Love it.
myself, because
Yes.
what works for Donna might not work
Right.
for Brittany, and what works for
Right.
Brittany might not work for Donna. So definitely tailor those affirmations to yourself. Now, of course, the simple ones: I am beautiful, I am smart, I am vibrant, I am inspirational, I am love. Those are the more common ones. But as you get deeper into it, there are some that should be tailored to you in your life.
Yes. I love that. One of the things that I, teach my clients is using this wonderful God-given gift of imagination, first of all, because a lot of times we say we have a goal or we have a dream, but we don't take time to what I call five sensorize it, you know, get in a quiet place. If just for instance, I want to live in a foreign country on the beach. Imagine your house. Imagine not just the materialistic, but I'm just saying start there. Really imagining your surroundings, smelling the ocean, visualizing, hearing, um, you know, doing the things that a person would do who is living the life you're wanting to live. You're wanting to be, a entrepreneur that makes a certain amount of income every month. So what is your long-term goal? What does that look like? What will that feel like? What will I do with that? What kind of people will I surround myself with? So we really have to take the time to use that imagination and really, really feel that dream. And then you're talking about, then from that, you can get the affirmations you need. You can get, you know, those
Definitely.
come to you. Those come to you. Those affirmations will come to you. And so and Tim said, be where you imagine being. That's faith. That's right. That is, it is faith. So that's why I say, you know, even as Christians, we have to be open to the fact that God is not just bound by one book. God is everywhere. And if he's in you and he's in me, and it might, we say he, but you know, that's for us here on this earth. But we have to be open to allow, you know, those things to come to manifestation. And so those affirmations, and what I'm talking about, using that imagination, that gift we forget to use, because when we're kids, you know, we always imagine being a doctor. We played doctor. See, we played out our imaginations then. We don't play them out as adults, you know. So play them out, you know, on an adult level, play them out. So I love that. And where did you, because you talked about meditation, where did that come into play for you?
Are you asking where I learned that from, or
Yes, like where did you learn it, and how was your, you know, what was the process for you? Because
okay,
meditation is different for everyone,
right?
you know.
So I also got that from Aviola. Truthfully, and being honest, I never really knew before this journey that there was a such thing as sitting and meditating in a quiet space and envisioning your life and basically planning it out and asking God for the things that you want. I had never heard of it. I never knew about it. So as I was watching her, she did like an interactive one, and I sat down and I did it with her. And I noticed my first time doing it, I wasn't able to focus. I mean, my mind was going everywhere. I was thinking about everything, and my emotions was flowing. But as I started doing it, and I was able to start doing it on my own. I started. This is weird, but I started meditating in the bath. So I would take a
Yes.
nice spiritual bath, light some candles, put my crystals out, and put some bath salts in my water. And that's where it really started at for me, to where I was able to truly zone everything out and focus my energy on one thing.
On one thing. Yeah.
Yes. So Aviola has taught me a lot. I'm still learning and I'm still growing, and I'm excited for where this journey takes me, because it's a lot. It's a lot to learn. It's a lot to know. And I use what I do know and I pour into other women. Like I said, I do nanny for a lady, and she briefly touched on it, but she was being super negative yesterday, and I just started like using my words to just pass that positive energy on to her and turn that around. And I've truly learned that through meditating and sending everything out and just zoning out and focusing my attention on the positive things.
Yes. I love that. You know, it was very hard for me as well. And what I started using was I started going, well, I was using Insight Timer, but, you know, they have, you know, guided meditations for me were easier because I could focus on what they were saying. And then if I'm focusing on what they're saying and trying to get in that state, it's a lot easier to not get to be all over the place. What just happened at work, you know, what my partner said to me that just, you know, made me look at him cross-eyed, or what what one of my triple G's just said, and how dare they, and or what I want to eat for dinner tonight. Oh, I forgot to do this or that. So it's so easy to get unfocused. So I know for me, similar, I started using guided meditations, and that helped me. And then I noticed that I do a 10-minute. Then I do a 15. And the next thing I knew, I could sit here and, you know, meditate on my own. And I love when the weather's nicer. I sit on my back deck, especially in the morning when the birds are happy and excited. And that is like, my my zen place. Like I love that. And you don't always have to be, you know, saying your affirmation. Sometimes just sitting in the presence of your higher power, just being grateful.
That is it there. That's
Grateful.
it. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to even think anything. I mean, you could just sit, and as you do it, like you said, you was able to do it for 10, then 15. And
That's right.
my first time was about 10 minutes. Now I can sit here and fall asleep
Yes. Yes.
while meditating, seriously.
Yes. Yes. So I love that. And it's wherever your place of calm is. So I love that. I'm going to ask you one more question, then we're going to talk about how people can find you. I want to ask you, back to the entrepreneur side, what would you tell others who feel like they have a business or a passion that they want to cultivate but don't really know where to start? What advice would you give them?
First, I would say change the way you think. Because if you go into something thinking that it's not going to be what you want it to be, because it very much may not be what you want it to be. My first business that I started, it wasn't what I wanted to be. So changing the way you think, there's a word for it, paradigm. Change your
Mhm.
paradigm. The way you
Shift
view
your
the world, the way
paradigm.
you view yourself, the way you view others. Change that and start with that. Take a leap of faith. Step out there and just do it. If you took the time to think about it and it's on your mind, just do it. That's just like if I put a shirt on and I look in the mirror and I'm second guessing myself. I took the time to put this shirt on. I'm gonna wear it. And then maybe later in the day I might realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't have wore this. But you don't know until you give it a try. So I
Yeah.
would say take that leap of faith and just do it. And a lot of people will say, well, I've come up with this idea, but I don't have the money for it. And this is a big one I want to talk about, because a lot of people have this mindset that they can't afford something. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Stop saying I can't afford this, because you can. Like I said, I took $500 and I started my first business. Now, I didn't make anything from it really, because I wasn't passionate about it and I didn't put in the effort that I should have. But with my bracelet business, I took $200 and I started that business, and I was able to make significantly more than what I was able
I
to
didn't want I
with.
didn't want to show this
And
again.
this is just more recently what she's wearing, and I'm speaking of when I first
I
started.
know. I love this
So
bracelet
take
set.
it is beautiful. It is pretty. I was like, dang, I should have got me some more beads to make this, 'cause I don't have any more of those. But just change your paradigm and take that leap of faith. You can do it. Go for it. If it does not work out for you, it's not the end of the world. It's not. There might just be something else out there that you should be doing. Find your calling. A lot of people will say, find your niche. Well, if you can't find your niche if you don't do trial and error. So don't write something down and write your business plan out and say, oh, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. And then later down the line, you're like, oh, I don't know if I should do this. What of this? What of that? Well, you don't know until you actually try. So
Yes.
at least give it a try. Take a leap of faith and jump through the hurdles. And there's plenty of people out there that will support you, that you can ask. Facebook is huge for groups that help you learning things. I mean, when I first started thinking about making candles, I didn't know a thing about candles. The stuff that I know now, I would have never thought that's what you had to do to make a candle. The science itself that goes into making candles is very stressful. But I did my research. I got on Facebook. I joined a group, and the women of that community are phenomenal. So if you make candles, let me know. Reach out to me, and I'm happy to connect you to that group, because it's a great support system, and that's what you need. That's another big one. Get yourself a support system, because you can't do it all by yourself. You're going to have questions, and Google can be very overwhelming for asking business related questions. So find yourself a group,
Mhm.
a mentor, a business partner, and really confide in that person and use them.
Yes. For the wealth of because they're going to have information, and that's really what this community is about. That's what Women, Wisdom, and Wine is about. It's not always going to be, no one's going to necessarily come on here with a step by step, because you can get those things. You can go on Facebook, IG, YouTube, and get the step by step instructions. But talk to me about, what you did when you did, like you talked about how, hey, this first business didn't do what I wanted it to do. So I needed to shift some things, because that's feedback. That was a failure. That was just feedback. And so now you were able to regroup, and you have some wonderful things going on. So I want to talk about I want you to tell people where they can find you, how they can get in touch with you, how they can support you.
Okay. So my website is houseofbougie.com, and you can find that at the bottom of the screen. Everything is marked down right now because I am taking a small shift away from the bracelets so that I can focus all of my attention into my candle line. I have a couple sets that I still need to upload on my website as well, but you can go ahead and go to my website at www.houseofbougie.com, or you can just type it in as it is on the screen. It'll bring up the same thing. If you have specific questions or you need something resized, you can email me at support@houseofbougie.com, and I will respond within a 24-hour time frame. So you can contact me through there, or you can add me on Facebook or follow my business page on Facebook, and contact me through those platforms as well.
Okay. Now let me ask you. You did say do you have a launch date yet for your candles? Just curious.
So I've been telling myself.
I'm asking for a friend.
I've been telling myself February 14th, which is Valentine's Day. So I am striving extra hard to make that happen. There is a huge shortage in the candle making world. If you make candles, then you know what I mean. Like buying candle, I bought some candle wicks, and I don't know where I got the information from, but I thought I bought the right candle wicks, and they're too small for the vessels that I have. So when I did my test candle, that's another thing, you got to test your candles. So when I did my test candle, I realized that it wasn't burning like it should. So in the group that I'm in, I asked, and they were like, oh, you need to go up a wick size. Well, those wicks have been sold out for a couple of weeks now. The lids, so
everybody's home and they're trying to learn how to make candles.
This is my rose gold lid.
Oh, I love it.
This is my rose gold lid, and I need black ones as well for my rose gold vessels. But the black lids have been sold out for about 3 weeks now, and they were supposed to be back in stock tomorrow. Well, then they dropped the ball, and they said that they were going to be sold out until March 25th.
Oh, no.
So my goal is Valentine's Day. I'll launch with what I have. If I don't have the lids by then, I do still plan to launch by then if my wicks come in, because I can't make a candle without a wick. I can do without the black lids because I still have other stuff to launch. But fingers crossed for February 14th for everything to be completely launched.
We are. I love hearts. I love hearts and giraffes. Those are my two things, but I love hearts. So it's not so much Valentine's Day. It's just that the day after, I can go get all the heart stuff on sale.
Right, because it will be marked down.
Yeah. But I love that. So we're going to be looking for February 14th, and we are going to be praying and sending good thoughts and to wish you well on that. And I will be looking on February 14th. So I want you to tell everyone about the discount that you're going to offer.
Yeah. So if you are watching this live segment, first of all, thank you all for tuning in and giving us your time and hearing what we have to say. If you go on my website and when you check out, you can type in the code live segment 10, and it will give you 10% off the already marked down prices. So definitely take advantage of that. I have very high quality materials, and Miss Donna can attest to that. So definitely check out my website and see if there's something there for you or your loved one.
Absolutely. So now y'all know how we do here. We give you 2 weeks to use that, because if somebody goes on the YouTube channel and listens to the live a month from now, you cannot hit that. Okay. All right. So from today through the 10th of February, you can use the code live segment 10 and get 10% off. I want to thank you so much for joining, for being willing and being vulnerable and open to have this discussion. You are such a bright young woman. I am just so pleased that we linked up. And I know that that was through Facebook, because we were following someone. Was it
Instagram?
Instagram?
I think so. No, you know what? It might have been Facebook, but we first interacted on Instagram.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah. Yes, because me and IG aren't the best of friends quite yet. I'm still getting there. So, so I'm going to tell people give people a few more things of how they can get in touch with me. But I'm going to just let you know that I appreciate you, and flash that beautiful smile one more time as we.
Thank you so much.
All right. Okay. Well, I will talk to you shortly, and everyone, let's give her a virtual hug, since she's been a great guest.
Thank you all. I'm virtually hugging you back. Thank you all so much for watching, and follow me. I'll be happy to accept your friend request. I'm a very outgoing person, so feel free to hit the follow button or the request button, whatever it is.
All right. We'll be talking soon, my friend.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye. All right, everyone. What a beautiful breath of fresh air Miss Brittany is. I want to tell you, as promised in the beginning, how you can find out more about me, more about Life Destiny Solutions, and how you can download my freebie, my free guide, 5 Steps to Begin Living a Life You Truly Love. All you have to do is visit my website, donnasalee.com. And don't forget those 2 L's and 2 E's, donnasalee.com. And that's where you can find out more. If you would like to join, and if you have not already joined, the private Facebook group for Life Destiny Solutions. And I want to point out it is SOUL. So Life Destiny Solutions, you can find it there on Facebook. It is a private group, so it'll ask you a few short questions and you'll be able to come on into the group, okay? And follow me there. Now, if you're joining on YouTube and Facebook is not your jam, IG is your thing, you can follow me on IG at Life Destiny Solutions. It is right there, okay? And so I want to also let you know that if you would like to be a guest on this show, it is Women, Wisdom, and Wine. If you have some wisdom to share, a life experience, anything that you feel that you can help someone else, because that's what it's all about, please go ahead and email me. Right there, Donna at donnasalee.com. Don't forget those 2 L's and 2 E's. I have to keep saying that because someone always forgets one of them. So Donna at donnasalee.com. You're going to put in the subject line live segment, and then tell me a little bit about yourself. Give me your name, give me a little bit about yourself, and tell me what you would like to talk about. I promise I will get back to you, okay? So this is our show. So I need you to volunteer to come on the show and let's just have a conversation. Now, if you have something you would like to hear someone else talk about, someone else share their wisdom about, you can still email me. In the subject line, you're just going to say segment idea and tell me what it is you would like to talk about. And the last thing is, I'd like to tell you, please invite and share this live segment. Let's grow this community, because I believe this is something that we need right now in our in our lives, in our community. We need to be able to have these conversations and be able to learn from one another. Okay. All right. So as I let you go, next week we have another special guest, Miss Tiffany Castillo, my sister. So I will have a promo out about that in a few days. And so remember, every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. I want you to come on out, put it on your calendars, put yourself a reminder, because we do the things we want to do, right? We had great number of people to come in tonight. So I want to see you. Come on in. Come on in. But you know what I always tell you. Until next time, dream big, but live even bigger. Have a good night, everyone.